This is specifically for maths, and it's on the Key 11 Plus kind of maths topic. So let's run through this. My name is TJ. I'm going to help you get through this. Try this first question here. What would you do for this question here? What would you do? When you look at this question here, what are you going to do? Now, the first thing I'd say to you is, like, you go 90 degrees. So what way would they turn 90 degrees clockwise? So what way do the hands of the clock go? They go this way. They go around the clock, And so what I would do for this here is I would like focus on one thing. You see like the base of this here? You see the base of that there? That's turning this way, isn't it? So it's turning this way. So this is going from on its belly, like this, on its belly, to going upright. So where is it upright here? Where's the base? Here. Now it's standing up. That's the one. It's standing around the clock and standing up, and the answer is A. All right. Those types of questions now are very common, and what you need to do is just practice. That pays off. Question 2. Okay. Thomas joins 2 equilateral triangles. Good man, Thomas. Now, he wants to make a rhombus. Each triangle has a perimeter of 54 centimeters. Okay, gotcha. 2 equilateral triangles. Now, how many sides does a triangle have? It has 3 sides, right? So, the triangle has 3 sides, and all 3 sides add up to 54 centimeters. So if we divide 54 centimeters, divide that by 3. Let's do that. Let's divide 3 goes into 54, goes into 5, it goes in once. Remainder, what's remainder? Remainder 2. 3 into 24, that goes into 24 how many times? 8 times. Okay, so that means one side of the triangle, nice and easy for you, draw in the things you know. That's really important for your tests. Show your workings, core, really, really important. So 18 on every side. I would do it like this, look. Put in 18, put in 18, put in 18. And now you can add up the sides if you want. Because the thing is, you know, what people make the mistake here is that they go, oh, and the middle part as well. No, what you're focusing on is the outside, the perimeter. You're focusing on the outside because you're looking for the perimeter of the rhombus. The perimeter is the outside pieces. Does that make sense? All right. So 22 would be the answer. So you can multiply it out. You could 18 multiplied by 4. I actually have a trick for you, by the way. 18 multiplied by 4. Or I could say, if you want to do it really quickly in your head, what's 18 divided by 2? It's 9. And then multiply the 4 by 2, you get 8. It's the same thing. These are the same thing. They'll give you the same answer. That's maths for you. Who loves maths? I can't hear you. Okay, keep moving. Question 3. Juliet draws pictograms to show how many flowers that grow in her garden. My God, Juliet, you have a huge flowers. How many flowers should Juliet draw? Okay, one of them is worth 6 flowers. Okay. It should be easy enough, gang. You should, but it's going to work with decimals here, I'd say. So what did you get? You're going to do 45 flowers, and I would underline that. 45 flowers. 45, and you're going to divide in 6 into that. You'll get it. It'll work out. You'll find that it'll go to like, so 6 into 4, I cannot do. So bring up the 4. 6 into 45, you can add on your zeros if you want. 6 to 45, how many times does that go? Anybody? It's going to go 7 times. Because remember, 6. Okay, 45, take away 42, on some point. And 6 into 30, you got this. It is 0.5. Voila, that's the answer. Does that make sense? I did that very fast, but how many of these does she need to draw to show the 45 flowers? 6 into 45, and what they're trying to do is divide with decimals. You'll get there. All right. Multiply the previous number by 4 and subtract 2 from your result. Ooh, okay. So we're all starting at 1. This because it's a bit trickier. Okay. I know. Let's look at, so like I would just look at the first 2 numbers. Because, can I do like this? Look at the first 2 numbers, okay? Just like this. Now, what I want you to do here is, you're all starting off with 1. So let's follow the instructions. Multiply the previous number, which is just 1. Multiply that by 4. What's 4? Subtract 2 from your result. -2. What does that give me? It gives me. So now you're down to 2 options. So work with me here. You could do this one or this one. So how do you know if it's B or D? How do you know if it's B or D? Come on, how do you know if it's going to be B or D? So let's do the same thing. Now we're starting off number will be 2. And let's just follow the instructions again, what they said. Multiply it by 4, remember? That's fine. And then subtract 2. So 2 by 4 is 8. And then subtract 2. Minus 2, that's 6. This number's not 8, but the next number here is 6. That's correct. The answer will be D. And just to show that you are correct, you can do it from here. 6 multiplied by 4 gives me 24. Take away 2, 22, you win. That's it. There's a bit of a trickier question. It just takes a bit of time to run through and like soak it in a second and do what the question goes. Step by step. Question 5. James was thinking of a number. If he rounds that number to the nearest 10, he gets 1230. What number could James be thinking of? Good man, James. He's thinking of a random number. If he rounds that number to the nearest 10, okay. Like the nearest 10 to this one here is what? This is 2, it's below 5. So this nearest one will be, it's a 4, it'll go down to 1220. The nearest one to this is 1220. And the last one, because it's 5, it goes up. So the answer to this one here was 1240. So the actual answer was A. I like these types of questions. The answer was A. I like these types of questions. They're nice. And you should like them too, hopefully. The next one. Well, this is a bit trickier. But a box like this, that represents 90 degrees. Okay? Like an angle. 90 degrees. Look at my hands. Like that. That's 90 degrees. You got me? Okay. This line here is like a straight line. And a straight line, the angle of a chunk of that gone. It's done already. Because it tells us one part of it is 90 degrees already. You got me? Does that make sense? One part of it's 90 degrees already. So that's fine. Now the other part then is 3x. So tell me again, this whole angle here is 180. What's 180 minus? It's 90. And so 3x here should give me 90. That should give me 90. Oh, grand. So you all following along? I got 180 degree chunk of it was already 90 degrees. We knew that. So 180 take 90 gives me 90 degrees. So we're working as 90 degrees. Now, we have to find the value of x. So 3x is equal to 90 degrees. And I always think like this when I was doing really simple algebra when I was younger. What I would like, the 3 is molded to the hip of the x. It's like welded onto it. And what I would do then is I would divide it by 3. X is equal to 90 divided by 3. Okay? And so x, 3 into 9 goes 3. The answer is 30. And works from this. Answer is D. It just takes a bit of time. This looks very complicated. You didn't really need any of this stuff, gang. You know? You could have just worked from this there. When baking, Jack usually uses 486 flour. Good man, Jack. How much flour does he need? Flour for 6 people today. He has a baking cake for 9 people. Okay, Jack. Let's work at this. So how much flour does he need for one person? You know, when I'm thinking these questions, I'm thinking of like, how much does he need for one person? Because if I can get for one person by 9, to get the 9 for 9 people, you know what I mean? Because he's doing it for 6, bring that back down to one person, and then I can just multiply by 9. So it's how much flour he needs, and then multiply by 9 to get for 9. Nice and easy. It's going back to go forward again. Take one step back to take 2 steps forward. Does that make sense? Because these are very common types of questions. All right? No. All right. Try this one here. So 486. 6 into it. Let's go. 6 into 4, I cannot do. Carry it up. 6 into 48 goes 8 times. Remember? 6 multiplied by 8 gives me 48. And then 6 into 6 goes once. So for one person, he'd need 81 grams of flour. And I would show my workings. 81 grams of flour. I'd write it down anyway. That's what it needs for one. We can work this. 9 by 1 is 9. 9 by 8 is 72. Oh, you're winning. You're winning. Look what 72 is here. It's 8. Happy days. You're flying. Excellent stuff. Super stuff. I'll move my head out the way here. I have a big fat head and it's getting... She spent $81.50 and she bought 5 bars of chocolate. 3 bars of milk chocolate. Good stuff, Janice. So her total is $81.50. Grand. And how much was each bar of chocolate? 5 bars of white chocolate. So total equals £81.50. And minus white chocolate. The white chocolate. How much white chocolate did she do? It was £5 a bar. Read this. And she bought 5 of them. So it's £5 a bar, 5 bars multiplied by £5. What does that give me? It gives me £25. Okay. So we're taking off £25. What's that give us now? So let's just show you the steps towards it. So remember now, if you're doing £81.50, that's £81.50 minus, you can do £25. 5 take 0 is 5. 1 take 5, I cannot. And you have 8 take 3 is 56. So after her white chocolate, she's left with 56.50. But then she bought 3 bars of milk chocolate. You've got to knock off 3 by, how much are the bars? 5. And that gives me, do that in your calculator. Oh, sorry, do that, multiply that out, and you're going to get £16.50. Okay. From 56.50, take that off, and you're going to be left with, if you could do it there. I'm just going to run through just for the answers. So 5 take 5 is 0. So you're going to be a clean out number here. 6 take 6 is 0. And 1 take 5 is for £40. So she spends a total of 81, and she bought 10 bars for 10 bars of dark chocolate for £40. She spent £4 a bar. A bargain. Fair play. It was £4 a bar. That was it. Look straight up, and you can knock that off yourself and just work away. So you can be clever with these kind of things. Question 9. Number of ice cream sold by 2 shops in a day. Why is this graph misleading? Now, this is an interesting question, because you see this. The y-axis doesn't increase equally. It does. So that's not the answer. This is the y, x and y. So it doesn't increase equally. No, x and y. So no, it does equal. That's going up pretty equal. That's okay. So you're happy with that? It's impossible to sell ice cream in winter. It's not impossible. Like, it is possible. I buy ice cream in winter sometimes. So that's not a true statement. The area for shop 1 is more than 2.5 times the area for shop 2. Come back to this one, put a question mark next to this, and everyone likes ice cream. That's irrelevant. That doesn't affect the study. And this only has 2 ice cream shops. That's that. Number of ice cream sold by 2 shops a day, because that's what they're looking for. But this is the one you put a question mark on. The area of shop 1 is more than 2.5 times the area for shop 2. It's going to be C. It's just like, because it looks like this looks really tiny. It looks so small, and this looks way bigger. But this could be significant enough. They're still selling 40 ice cream, the looks wise. So this looks way smaller. It kind of distorts you. Do you know what I mean? It distorts you. So you don't really fully get to comprehend it. So go with C. That's a tricky question. This is a tricky question in particular. Don't get too bogged down on this if you get this in the exam. I'd say this is a badly worded question, so I wouldn't be overly concerned with this. The answer would have gone for B. Amy collects 60 keychains. A third of them are from Spain, 1/4 of them are from Italy, and 1/5 of them from China. How many keychains are not from any of these countries? So you probably have to add up your fractions to figure it out, really. She's 60 keychains. So you could add up your fractions if you wanted to. You probably could add up your fractions. So like 1/3 plus 1/5. Okay, that's what you probably have to do. But to be honest, you could also do it where you could find out how many keychains were in that. So a third, Amy collects 60 keychains. So what is a third of 60? So 3. What's 60 divided by 3? 3 into 60 goes 2. So it's 20. So that's 20 keychains. And 1. What's 4? What's 60? It's going to give you 4 goes in. Once remainder 2, 4 goes into 25 times. So 20 plus 2 in green, 15. And the last one would be remainder 1, 5 into 10 goes twice. So plus 12. What does that give me? 20 plus 15 is 35. 2 is 37. And one more is 47. So all in all, she has accounted for 40. What's 60 take 47? What's that give me? Anybody? It's 13. That's your answer, 13. Okay, there's a great little sharp test to make you sharp for your exams. All right? And the better time it does come, practice, practice, practice. It really pays off.